Good morning. Welcome to the Reckoning Brothers Afternoon Tea Edition. Sitting here drinking a delicious, delicious cup of Barry's Irish Breakfast Tea out of Cork County, Ireland. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good. I'm missing my tea. I should go get it, but I will not. But it is the best tea ever made. That is Yogi.
And unfortunately, we don't have the technology to allow you to go get it and then edit the video, so we're stuck.
Ah,
We're stuck. Josh, something's been annoying me. As you know, I'm kind
okay.
of new to Twitter, and I keep
We had a big
seeing
long conversation about Twitter too.
we did. I keep seeing people posting this attitude of if I offend you, so what, I don't care type of shit over and over again. And I think that's probably the most played out stance that exists in the United States of America right now. I think it's annoyed me probably more than wokeism at this point. I think this is just in the past few weeks where it's just because it's played out and I don't want to see it. There's no deeper philosophical reasons. It just is so fucking annoying and just so old and so cringe. Do you agree?
While I agree with you that it is annoying, I don't agree that it is the most annoying thing on the internet. I think the most annoying thing is when someone posts something in a group and says "remove if not allowed."
Remove if not allowed.
Yes, so it is a group about, let's say, football,
Hmm.
and they come in and say something about baseball, and then
Hmm.
they'll say remove if not allowed.
I didn't know that was a thing. I
It
haven't
is a
seen
thing, and
this.
it drives me crazy. It's not necessarily Twitter, but it's more of a group based thing. So,
So are so is this just people just trying to say what they want to say in the most groups as possible? So they just
yeah,
put it in everything, and
yeah,
that's
and a
their
lot of,
little disclaimer.
yeah, and a lot of times it has to do with trying to get you into a scheme of some kind. It's rather annoying.
Okay. I if I were seeing those more often, I would probably agree with you that that would be like the
But
number one thing.
you're not on the book of the face. So
No, I'm not on the book of the face. It's I can't get back on there because it's one thing when you're on Twitter and you see people in the abstract making like stupid comments and having stupid beliefs, but on Facebook it's like your friends and family making stupid comments and having stupid beliefs, and it's just like Thanksgiving's enough.
yeah,
Enough of that kind of punishment. I can't fucking do it. I can't.
mine has been whittled down to pretty much just family and
Mm,
close friends, and I have those random people that come in that I graduated high school with that I don't care about, and I usually unfollow pretty quickly.
mm.
Um, but yeah, it is. It's become a lot of ads. It's become a lot of groups, and it's rather annoying.
Yeah, I'm still not getting back into Facebook. Although the idea of doing it with just close friends and family.
And we still can't get Mark
Oh,
onto it. I mean, he was on.
he was
He
huge. He
was.
was one of the biggest people in all of Facebook, according to him. I think, right?
Uh, he was. I won't say he's the biggest, but he was a powerful force there,
No, he was a
and
big. Yeah, I'm
he
just giving him
had
shit. He
a
was big.
lot of people commenting on stuff, and he, yeah, just. I mean, he just got released from Facebook jail, but he is not revisiting it. So I don't know. Maybe he's burned out by it.
I could see that, and it's probably not the same as he's used to, and doesn't want to
Yeah,
rebuild stuff. So I
yeah.
get it. I get it. I've got a question. How much information can you handle at a time that you disagree with? For instance, do you think it's a good idea to lightly consume information that you think is probably going to be false or stupid, or go on like a long binge of taking in a bunch of information that you disagree with? Do you think if you have a bunch of that stupid shit coming at you all at once, you're just gonna kind of something's gonna click in your brain. You're just gonna be like, "Fuck this," or
No,
do you think a trickle is a way to go about it?
I think a trickle's a way to go about it. And yeah, for me, it's visiting that obscure website every once in a while, like Vice, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah,
or watching MSNBC for 20 minutes until I'm annoyed by it.
yeah.
And usually it's something like that is after a big public event, State of the Union, or
Mm,
swearing in, or a big vote in Congress, and just wanting to hear the opposition side momentarily, just see how
yeah.
they're taking it. And usually, I think I'm going to get on here and they're going to say, "Oh, it turns out to be pretty well." No, it's a shit fest, and that's yeah. So I take it with a grain of salt. I take it very lightly. I don't feel like it's like a trickle is a good word for it.
Do you have a go-to of someone that's like a lefty that you like or think is reasonable enough to where you can get good information? It doesn't piss you off, and you think they're a reasonable person.
No,
You know,
I
I kind of
follow a
like
lot
it.
of people on Twitter, and like, yeah,
Yeah,
Stephen King is like one of the worst. I don't know if you.
yeah, but he's not a Politico. He's just
He
a rando.
tries. He tries.
They all try, man. They're just
Have you
randos that
seen
get
his
their feet into.
Twitter?
I've seen tweets of his. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know he's an ultra lefty intersectionalist guy,
Yeah.
and and it's just someone who just drank the Kool Aid. It's not interesting. He's not going
Yeah.
to say anything about that that's interesting to me. But there's people that I do kind of like. I like Ezra Klein. I've been warming up to him lately. I think he's a really smart guy. Um, trying to think. Well, Sam Harris, I love. He's kind of a lefty, but there are people out there that that I listen to, and I can actually like take the information in because I know they're at least going to be honest actors.
Yeah.
But
Stephen
if
Ambrose is
I know
Stephen
that
A.
name, why do I
Yeah.
know that name?
I can't remember why.
Okay, but yeah, but like
That's
MSNBC,
not
it's
it.
like
That's
if I'm
that's a dumb one. Hang on. It's not Stephen Ambrose. Stephen A. Smith. But I
oh
would
that
know
guy, yeah,
who Stephen
yep,
Ambrose is. So,
the sports broadcaster guy, Stephen
yeah,
A.
he,
Smith.
he would American historian and academic is that one. But he would I don't know why I thought of that. Stephen Ambrose wrote Band of Brothers. That just came to mind. I don't know why that came to mind.
Well, it's one of the best miniseries that's ever been made, so that's
Absolutely
probably
great.
why.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
probably why.
I think it was the A in the beginning of there. Stephen A.
That
Stephen A. Ambrose. Anyways,
yeah, they're both
continue.
very different people.
Yes.
Stephen A. Smith, though, I kind of like him when I've seen him in interviews and stuff, but I don't know. He's not like I guess too impressive to me to where he'd be someone that I would regularly listen to. But when
Yeah.
I saw him, like he was on Bill Maher recently, and I kind of liked him, but it's not like not enough to where this guy's a thought leader. I'm going to check him out. No,
Right.
he doesn't
But
make it
are
to that
there
level.
thought leaders on the left?
Yeah, Ezra Klein and Sam Harris that I just mentioned are two. Um, let's see, Matt Iglesias probably still is. Politicians, I don't know if they have any political thought I mean, you got your Ilhan Omar AOC squad types, but
Cory Booker.
yeah, okay, maybe Cory Booker. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of someone that comes across as reasonable enough to
Yeah.
where you could call him like a thought leader, because that's almost like you to be a thought leader. It seems like both sides or people from everywhere would kind of have to put you up on a little bit of a pedestal. So even those you disagree with would have to respect you enough to call you a thought leader to be a thought leader. I just don't think any modern politician really
It's
hits that.
definitely not Bernie. Yeah.
Maybe used to. I could see Bernie
He
Sanders
used
10
to.
years ago.
Yeah.
I could see Bernie Sanders 10 years ago being a thought leader for sure.
And reasonable too.
Mm-hmm.
He went a little off the chain there, and yeah. But I think that's the nature of the whole party right now is that they're trying to figure out who they are because what they're fighting against, and I think they're just finding anything they possibly can and exploding it. So
They're learning the lesson of you have to stand for something. You can't just stand against something. Like
Yes.
the party of not Trump didn't get you elected twice. You know, you have to stand for something, and then you also have to call out your own extremists, which they don't have a history of doing that like the right has. Like it's so easy for any conservative right wing person to be like, yeah, white nationalists are a piece of shit. I hate them. I don't associate with them with all. Fuck each and every last one of them. It's reflexive almost. But you ask a Democrat like, hey, what do you think of what do you think of people marching the uh, the pro-Palestinians that go too far and go straight up into anti-Semitism?
Yeah.
You don't hear them calling them out, you know. And I know that's great because there's plenty of people that are just pro-Palestinian that are nuanced and don't think, you know, the full anti-Semitic way. But I just don't think they have enough practice, and they need to start doing it. They need to realize, like, so remember the Jacob Blake riots,
Yeah.
Kenosha, Wisconsin. They there were Democratic politicians that visited Jacob Blake in the hospital, and a lot of conservatives remember this. Why is that a big deal? Because the reason that Jacob Blake got shot is because he kidnapped,
Sorry.
bless you, he really tried to kidnap kids who were his own kids, but the police were called out to the scene. This guy kidnapped kids, had them in his car, trying to drive away, was going for a knife when he got shot. This is what happened. No, this all of this was justifiable. The cop was never charged for good reason, but people don't believe that that is a story. They simply believe a false narrative. A lot of people, when polled, think that Jacob Blake was killed. You know, but Democrats went and visited him in the hospital because they thought that that's where politically that's what they should do. Like, oh, we should go on to this story because it's going to help us win votes. When in reality, a city went into rioting because of a justifiable shooting of somebody who was trying to kidnap kids and going for a knife. This is really what happened, right? I think that's how people see the Democrats. A general, even if they might not remember that specific story, they have this mindset of Democratic politicians just
Yeah.
not giving a shit.
Same thing with George Floyd.
Same thing
From
with
my
George Floyd. Yeah, if you watch the whole video that was released, the police cam video, it presents a different story than just the cell phone camera videos that were put out. A very different story. Doesn't
There was
justify it,
one. There was
but
one
it
in St. Louis before that. I don't remember what it
Michael
was.
Brown in Ferguson,
Yes.
the
Yes.
hands up, don't shoot never happened. He was trying he's trying to get a gun from a cop, and that's why he got shot.
Yeah.
Another justifiable shooting. There was no hands up, don't shoot. It didn't happen. This is just false. People are believing
But,
a false narrative.
the Kyle Rittenhouse too. There's another kind of issue there.
Yeah, that's another one too. I mean, the guy that one's. I don't think I would want a 17-year-old kid walking around with an AR-15 during
No.
riots. Whether he wants to go through and do help people with medical issues or whatever it is he was doing, I think that's what it was. But he still shot someone because he was protecting himself. They were being attacked, and he should have never been arrested for it at the same time. You know, there's nuance to it, but another false narrative. They just think that he was out. I think I probably might have told you about this before, but when that whole story went down, a good buddy of mine, I was trying to tell him about it. And he's like, don't tell me anything about it. I'm not going to look up this story. I'm just going to casually kind of pay attention to it. And then I'm going to tell you in like a week what I think happened. So he tells me what he thinks happened with Kyle Rittenhouse. And it was something like, he went down and he shot some people like during a protest. Some black people during a protest is what he said, actually, which is completely not what happened. And this is just him doing an experiment. He's like, I'm not going to look it up. I'm just going to casually observe the
That's
news and put
interesting.
together a story. And that's what he came up with.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought that was a
interesting.
really interesting little
And
experiment he did.
I mean, that sounds like an enlightened friend too. If he's trying to do a social experiment like that,
Yeah, he's a
that's
smart guy.
yeah.
Yeah. But I thought that was super interesting because it's like, because you don't look into these stories, right? You just take a narrative, but so many narratives are just straight up untrue that we believe. You know, the what is the Mark Twain quote? Like a lie goes around the world before the truth puts its shoes on, or something like that. It's I'm sure I'm
No.
butchering it,
Well, I
but
think that has a lot to do with the current LGBTQ a whatever plus agenda.
mm,
Is they're latching on to that as a political lever. I guess what you're trying to say there. So
yeah, yeah, to try to get their way. This is any special interest groups or a lot of
this is
special
the
interest
hot
groups
button
too.
issue right now. This is what we should be attaching ourselves to. And
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like back, 10, 15 years ago, that wasn't a thing. There wasn't that kind of political power in that arena.
Not in the not in intersectionalism world. They definitely didn't have that kind of power. That's pretty new,
Yeah.
because the kids being raised to see this as an absolute truth and really a substitute for religion, it started to become popular. What, like 2014, 2015, probably. So yeah, it wasn't that way, but the that problem of believing false narratives is so fucking huge. And that's why we say so much on here about the importance of just not even believing yourself, and just constantly reviewing your own beliefs and epistemological resets every day is
Question
so fucking
everything
important.
is what.
Question everything, even yourself, especially yourself. Like,
Yeah.
why do I believe this so strong? Why am I so emotionally driven by this? George Floyd's a great example of that. It's so understandable why all the rioting and everything happened after that video. It was a very emotionally driven event. And then, of course, the police camera body footage was repressed for I don't know how long, and that should have been released immediately, and everyone should have dealt with the whole story. But
I don't think
after
it
that started,
matters.
I think it would have
Once they
mattered.
make up, I don't think it does. Once they make up their mind about something, it's over. You cannot change it with body cam footage or not.
E- For a lot of people, that's true, but there are people in the margins that can, and I think just having that all the information out and having smart people talk about it would have made a difference, but it wouldn't have been everything. There probably still would have been the rioting and everything, but I
Yeah.
think it would have made some kind of difference, because if you watch the whole video, he says he can't breathe many times before being put on the ground. Like, the guy's having a drug effect. That's what's happening with him, and his anxiety issues and all of that stuff were happening the whole time, and that sucks. It sucks that he has all of these problems. All of this sucks, but it presents a bigger picture. And there needs to be adults in the room. There needs to be adults in the room. And the Democrats, part of the reason they lost is they are not presenting themselves as the adults in the room, for the reasons of the George Floyd just jumping on the narrative, excusing violence. And I don't know. I think the whole thing was kind of embarrassing. And I think the Democrats deserve to lose, and they still deserve to lose. I kind of like Dean Phillips. I'm trying to think of other people. I kind of like John Fetterman. Maybe they can be decent enough
I
to.
really like Jon Stewart and John Oliver, and
I
they
used I,
present.
I used to like both of them until they both their shows on. I think it was the same week. It was John Stewart's old show that he had on Apple, The Problem with John Stewart, and then John Oliver's show on HBO last week tonight. I think it was the same week they did a story on child gender transition, um, and they were both for it, and it was just a bunch of junk science bullshit. Like, oh yeah, it's the doctor that says you can stupid points of views and just ideologically driven nonsense. I can forgive him for that. I think it's been long enough, but that was a huge red flag for both of them. I
Yeah.
really did not respect that at all. Like, it's the idea that it's so done. This has been played out, right? Voting and everything. America has decided that the youth gender transition thing is a no go. It no, it's fucking stupid. You're below 18. You should not be on meds. You want to wear a dress, who gives a fuck? This has been already borne out. I think it just
Yeah.
should not be an issue. If you still think that there's an issue that's worth talking about and it's not settled, I don't know what to tell you. They were in that camp of it's okay to give drugs to kids to transition their genders or to stop their natural puberty. And it's a gross thing to think. I understand why they probably thought it. They think they're doing the good thing, but that's not an excuse because pretty much every evil person in the history of humankind thought they were doing the right thing. I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, but I respect the fact that you like them. They're both funny guys. That's for
Yeah.
sure. They're not idiots. I don't think they're idiots at all. I think
No,
they're both
not at
smart
all.
guys.
Jon Stewart's got a new show now. It's back on Comedy Central. He's not doing the Apple thing anymore. He's I've seen some clips here and there of him and the recent Trump stuff, and I don't know if you knew this, but he's wanting to debate, or Elon is wanting to debate him.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'm
I think
really
John
looking
Stewart would
forward to
give him a
that.
run for his money because Elon's far from perfect, and I
Um,
think he could use someone to just bring him back from the Trump thing,
yeah,
like a little bit, because this. I think well, me, you, and Mark, I think talked about messaging. I asked Mark if his messaging was off, and I think it is. The Doge messaging, I think, is off. I think it's they're painting themselves like him with the chainsaw on stage. Remember that?
it was
Right?
a bit
All
much.
this
Yeah,
it was too much. It's rubbing it in. It's like, yeah, yeah. You don't need to rub that issue in because everybody agrees with saving money. You need to be like,
but not now.
eh, okay, but it used to be a 90-10 issue that is important to curb spending in the government, right? And then maybe it's an 80-20 issue now, but it's important to curb spending and
I think
to,
that's where no, I think that's where the hard line's coming in, and kind of going along with our conversation and what they're latching onto. I think they're latching onto being adversarial to Doge.
hmm,
That's what I'm seeing in the mainstream media. It doesn't.
it's another
It's
wrong side of an 80-20 issue.
yeah.
But
It's just being oppositional to be oppositional.
true, but then back to I think Elon's feeding those trolls
Oh,
unnecessarily.
absolutely.
That's what I think I'm getting at.
Yeah. But I mean,
It's
I would pay money. I would pay pay-per-view money to watch those two talk.
yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Yeah, and I could see John Stewart coming out on top. I could see him just having the skill to do that. Maybe not, but it would be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting to see. I'd like to see him come to an agreement and, like, Elon be able to convince John Stewart, like, hey, look, this is why I'm doing this. And then I would love to see John Stewart be like, okay, cool. How about
That
we,
makes sense.
that makes sense. Let's
But
cut down on the theatrics. Let's
yeah,
cut down on the fucking theatrics. Like,
yeah,
it's not helping anybody. You're just, I don't know. Being magnanimous is such an attractive quality to me, and I don't see it. I
yeah.
don't see it. I want to see class and sophistication. Remember that John Adams miniseries on HBO? It was really good. Paul
I do.
Giamatti.
Yeah, that
There's
was a
a
great
scene
one.
towards the end where it's Paul Giamatti and I forget the guy who plays fucking Hamilton. I think it was Hamilton and John Adams were talking about the presidency, and John Adams is trying to convince that convince everybody to make it more like royalty. Like we should call the president His Excellency or something like that. And he should be put up on that pedestal, and we should have all the pomp and circumstance that puts him up there. And when I saw it at the time when I was younger, I'm like, this guy's fucking stupid. No, no, no. The president doesn't need to be put on a pedestal. But as I get older, I see the importance of decorum and carrying yourself well and just even though it's a show, even though it's a fucking show, I want to see decorum amongst people that I look up to and
Yeah.
people that are leaders. And I don't see it, especially with Trump. He's really bad at this. Probably his number one negative is he's just so he's too everyman almost, right? It got him elected, and I understand. But it doesn't mean that I have to like it. And I don't think it's good for the long term. I don't think it's good for the kids. There
He's
should be
confrontational. Yeah.
Yeah, he's confrontational, and I don't see class and sophistication. I want to see that. I see some of it, and I definitely see he's better than he was for sure. So I don't want to like completely just shit talk, but I want to see more of it. I want to see the guy that looks like, well, I, I don't know, that is a current version of a Winston Churchill type. Yeah, that's what I want. Who knows? I don't know, man. That's not at all what I wanted to talk about, but we've reached our half hour almost.
We're at a half hour. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Is there anything else you wanted to add?
no, man, that's great. It's a good topic. Enjoyed the
Good
conversation.
topic. And well, now we got another topic. If the John Stewart Elon Musk debate conversation, we're going to recap that. We're going to recap that for sure. I look forward to that.
Absolutely.
I look
Point by
forward to that.
counterpoint. Yes.
Yes, every single thing. I'll have the spreadsheet. I'll use AI, the whole nine. It's going to be fun.
Nice. Nice.
Let's hope that happens. All right, man.
All
Good
right.
talk.
Yep. See you later.
See ya.